Not only me, I went through such abuse, and I found other women are going through this experience, and from there, I decided to raise my voice. And I tell myself that I should stand up as a woman to look on how I can support my fellow women who are going through this abuse, and how I can write stories, how I can stand up as a woman and show my fellow women that we can and we are able to do something.
You are listening to Across Archives, a podcast featuring archivists, journalists, activists, leaders, policymakers, and historians to understand voice, agency, and the power of stories.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Across Archives. I am your host, Desmond Asakitikpi. Today, I am delighted to be joined by Riziki Kalibanya, founder and executive director of Women Stand Up and Care, WSC, a refugee-led organization in Kakuma Refugee Camp, Kenya, dedicated to advancing women's empowerment, child protection, mental health and psychosocial support, gender equality, and community resilience. She is also the director of RIZIAGRAPHY, a creative media enterprise specializing in photography, videography, graphic design, and storytelling for social impact. A Congolese refugee and single mother of four, Riziki has transformed personal challenges into a commitment to serving vulnerable communities. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration, a diploma in counseling psychology, and professional training in photography, videography, business management, and protection programming. Through her leadership, she champions inclusive development, refugee rights, women's economic empowerment, and innovative community-led solutions across Africa. In this conversation, we will explore how storytelling can become a tool for leadership, entrepreneurship, advocacy, and social change. We will discuss what it means to build a creative enterprise in displacement, the responsibility of documenting other people's stories with dignity, and why refugee women must be recognized not only for their resilience, but also for their leadership, innovation, and vision. Riziki, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on Across Archives.
Yeah. My name is Riziki Kalibanya. I am living in Kakuma Refugee Camp. I am a Congolese by nationality. I have almost 11 years in the refugee camp. I am mother and single mother of 4 children. I work with Women Stand Up and Care, and I am also a photographer by profession. Every day I used to wake up early morning to prepare my children for going to school and to go to prepare myself for work. I work with my fellow refugees and the host communities. And I am also a counselor. Most of the time we have protection issues dealing with community awareness, child protection, gender-based violence, mental health and psychosocial supports. I started with those awareness. I started with mobilization, and I found that there in the community was so many cases which was not recorded and others was not even known. From there, because I am born with the profession of photography, I am passionate about photography. It was since my childhood. But when I reached in the refugee camp, it was like all my dream was banned. It was like I couldn't even see the future in front of me. And from what I was experiencing in the community, looking on how women are struggling, looking on how women was abused, looking on how women was struggling with their confidence, I think on which can help women at least to overcome those challenges. And I come up with the idea, what if someone can write stories. Someone can visualize them through photography and post them. What if someone can stand up for women and start to narrate the success, the challenge faces to support refugee women in the refugee camp? And it was from there where I started my journey of risiography to look how I can post my own story. I started by my own story because of confidentiality, because of some protocol from UNHCR, because of some protection matters. So I started by my own stories, my own experiences, and I created risiography, not only to empower women, but also to break those gender inequality in the camp. It is how my story started.
Thank you so much for the story. Thank you for giving us a bit of your background. You mentioned something that caught my attention. You mentioned that you had seen how women were being abused. And I would like to find out, can you shed some light on that? If you could give some
Yes.
examples. Yeah.
Here in Kakuma, women are abused mostly in so many ways, but mostly in emotional abuse, physical abuse, and financial abuse. You may find a woman who comes from his country, educated, but only because she's not able to speak English, she found herself like someone who never goes to school. And from there, because she is not bringing something to the table, she is considered like useless. You can see even some people, the husbands, the family where she's married, telling herself she's nothing, she can't buy something, she's useless, she can't do anything. And most of the time, I was telling myself, because even me, I have experienced this language barrier. Is it possible that not knowing English can be the limitation or the barrier of my dream of or my life? Is it possible that because I am not able to speak English now that I can't speak in the future? And then from there, so many women were and are traumatized because they feel like they are not able to speak English, they can't know anything, and they can't do anything. They don't ever even have the courage to apply a work because they see themselves that no one can listen to them, no one can hear them. About financial, those who have tried, those who have studied even here in Kenya in the English program, they are going to work. She's not able even to go to pick the money. She's not even able to plan about the money she got every month. It is the man who is in charge of everything. Not because it is that they have compromised together, but it is only because she's a woman. Here in the camp, a woman is considered like a child. When you have done a mistake, you need to be slapped, and only the voice cannot change you. So even all the family can slap you. And I have seen all this abuse, and I tell myself that I should stand up as a woman to look on how I can support my fellow women who are going through this abuse, and how I can write stories, how I can stand up as a woman, how I can invest as a woman, how I can manage the finance as a woman, and show my fellow women that we can and we are able to do something.
So it was your personal experience, the things that you've experienced, things that you've seen.
It was not in the refugee camp, it is not only my personal experience, but the experience also from people I was working with.
Oh, right. So that's what pushed you. That's what made you.
Not only me. I went through such abuse, and I found other women are going through this experience. And from there, I decided to raise my voice.
All right. So then, can you tell us what it first looked like when you started visual storytelling? What were the first things that you do? How did you first get into it officially?
Yeah, the first thing, I looked for my registration for a professional center, and all people in my community was seeing me like a woman who doesn't have respect and who doesn't know her age. So in the belief or in the spirit of some people here in the camps, they think that it is only for young generation and photography is for young generation, the age from 15 to 20 maybe, and only boys. But women and aged women cannot do that. And those who are in the field, it is like they want to do something which is not good to the community. That was my first challenge. And in the class, it was like everybody was not sure that I could end the class. So this, she has children. When people want to set groups, some was trying to avoid me because they was thinking that I could not make because I am a married woman. I have responsibilities, so I could not make, which was not the idea because I was determined. That was the first challenge. The second challenge is in the market now, in the field. Giving us a project was not easy. And when you market yourself as a shoe, are you sure on what you are saying? Are you sure that you will be able to do this work? Are you sure? So you find that people are not trusting on women. They are not thinking that women can be able or see to do something like photography, to document something, and to finish the work. Those are the challenges I used to face.
Okay. And let's talk a bit more.
Yeah.
You decided to continue, you decided to not stop, you decided to keep building. So I want to
Yes.
find out what has been the experience like having decided not to stop, having decided to continue. What has been your experience like building photography and a storytelling practice in a refugee setting where women do not really occupy so much space in this setting of photography and storytelling? What has been your experience like in such a field where women are rare?
Building my career here was not surely easy, but to my side, I can say because of my determination and I built more on resilience. I am more resilient. I have brought change in the camp because after my graduation, I have encouraged even 3 women who are aged my age. They have also finished and we are in the same team. We are working with them. And I tried now to market myself. So I was going through on NGOs and talk about our work, what we are doing. And from there, it is like I have built the name of our brand. And for now, at least we can have some people who are trusting us despite some challenges, despite the trust. Because even when we are doing documentation, when we meet, if it is a man, most of them used to refuse. Me, I will not be documented by a woman. So from there, we started to be mixed because we started as a business for only women. But for from this challenge, we became mixed. So if someone doesn't need us as women to document him, we put a man there who will be who will do the documentation. But also the stigma. So many people are not even trusting refugees, despite my gender, but there is a status as refugees also who is like, she's refugees. My story will not have the strength because so many refugees are believing in resettlement. And when they see someone who is host, someone who is national, they believe that maybe this can go far and can bring process. So believing us or believing me as a refugee also was not easy because of expectation. So And from there, we build now how we can manage expectation from people to build. At the beginning of the documentation, we used to build rapport, manage expectation to help people to understand us and why we are. And from there, at least we have brand ourselves. And but also we are playing with UNHCR protocol because most of refugees doesn't like to be recorded or to take their image or pictures because of stigma. They don't like if they are in this country, people to know that they are living in Kenya or if they are refugees. But we used to play with their mind. We can post a story of another person or it is not him, or we can write only. Mostly I used to write as me. Some stories I used to write them as me and they are not mine to avoid those inconvenience.
All right. I picked out something from in this story you just shared. You mentioned that you document people. Can you tell us what the process is like to document
Yeah.
someone?
To document someone here in the Kakuma camp, you need first to seek the consent form to go to the house of this person. If he's married, to seek the consent from the man, the husband, and the woman. If it is a woman, you seek first the consent. Explain. Before you explain how will be the procedure, everything what we need, and the recording will be about what and what. If she's ready, we come with the consent form. After coming with the consent form, if she consents, she agrees, from there, you can now start recording. But after there, you support them with something for their time because they put their time on that. Because there is some recording who require time. Maybe you can come from the house to the shop where she's doing business, where she's doing work. So it is a small process. After that, you can give them even something. We call it soda. Yeah, it is a camp. That is how the procedure look. And if she like to, before posting that, you can go with the video and show her. It is like you have do your work, your video look like this. Maybe she can say, no, you can change here. Even some pictures, I don't like this picture. Maybe you can post this one. Okay, and from there now we can post. But we as RIZIAGRAPHY, we don't have so many pictures because we have not yet registered in Kenya because of some issues. They don't like, they don't give us registration as refugees. So reason why some of activity for RIZIAGRAPHY are posting under Women Stand Up and Care because at least Women Stand Up and Care is registered.
Okay. Wonderful. Now that you've mentioned Women Stand Up and Care and RIZIAGRAPHY, your both brands which you lead, how do you balance your role leading both brands, also as an entrepreneur, as a community leader, and as a mother? How do you balance all of these roles?
I think the work has become easier to me because first, to me, creating those brands was not for me. Was not for me to have the post, to manage the post and whatever. It was creating job opportunity. It was to break gender balance. It was to make youth empowerment. So as founder of Women Stand Up and Care and executive director, I have the body who is in charge. And every month we have a monthly meeting where we used to plan everything. So I have a team, a strong team. We used to train them, which is in charge of the work. So I used to look for funding and to make decision where it's need, but I have a team who is working on it. But about RIZIAGRAPHY as a director, I can say it is where I am working more because even mostly I work as a camera woman there. Mostly I used to go to the field to take pictures with the team. And about content, mostly it is me who used to create content because we have a team of content creators and who used to present some contents as comedy, as theater. It depends on the requirement of our beneficiaries because of language barrier. When we want to involve people in some activities, we don't use to discriminate some people. And you can see in the room, we can find people from 5 countries because here in Kenya, it is among the most populated camp in the world. And we have people from so many countries. So to support them and to help them to be involved in any activities, we as RIZIAGRAPHY, we came with the idea to do awareness through content. Most of the time, it is me who used to create those content, mostly in child protection, content in gender-based violence, content in mental health and psychosocial support, content in positive parenting. I used to create that content and give them, and they present them through action. So I can say mostly I am focused on RIZIAGRAPHY, but supporting also women stand up and care. But in my business also, I have 10 employees, 5 who are full-time and 5 half-time. So I have employees, I have trained them. We have our platform daily report where they used to send about what they have sell, what they need, and what we can do. So we have a platform for my business. And as a mother, every morning I used to make sure if my children are okay, to prepare them to go to school. Evening, if they have a homework, I support them. Yeah, that is what I used to do.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm really, really indeed happy to hear the progress that Resiography has made so far. And I would like to ask, seeing now that
Yeah.
you have employees, part-time, you have full-time employees, what was the secret? How were you able to monetize the brand?
To monetize the brands, what I have done, I have studied the environment of the market here in camp, and I saw that people are using mostly social media, and it is WhatsApp. What I used to do for my business and for my brand, I used to post so many things to WhatsApp, and even doing in is a physical marketing. I
Mm.
pass through people, I visit people, I invite people during some session, even in the church, to inform about what I am doing. And from there, people used to know what I do. I don't know if I have answered correctly.
No, you have, you have. Thank you very much for that. And as you have shared here today, I would just like to go into some more details. In your experience, how are refugee women often misunderstood or underestimated when it comes to creativity and leadership?
Yeah, I think first it is about us women because we as women first we don't believe in ourselves. And we have found again ourselves in the community where women are not considered. And finding again yourself in the refugee status, because being a refugee, I have seen it is like something who has make people to think that refugee is inability or refugee can define you or refugee it is only I think a state, a momentary state which can pass, but you still being the same person, you still being the same human with your dream, with your goal. So women have been underestimated in the refugee camp because of their state of which has made them vulnerable. As refugees, surely you are vulnerable. You find yourself with so many barriers, with so many limitations, language barriers, education barriers. So with those challenges, you are like you stop your life and you stop your goal. And from there, people and the community take advantage from this vulnerability and they started underestimated you. For example, I am working with some. They are good on their work because I have a beauty salon. I have people who are doing good makeup. I have people who are setting dreadlocks. But when you come with someone and tell them, yes, this one is working for this and he's looking for women who are doing this and this, my friend, most of these women, they are not even talking. They are asking me in my, in another language, what should I talk? And they are able. So having a barrier language first make women underestimate in to be underestimated in the refugee setup. Yeah.
So, if you were to give an advice to our women listeners, what would you say concerning this?
Yeah. What I can say for women, all women in the world and my fellow refugees, being a woman doesn't define you as useless. We are able. We are all created by God. So we have abilities and we are able. And also, becoming a refugee, it is a time which cannot define you. You still being the same person who could dream, who could do something. So keep doing, don't give up. You can find yourself today in the place where you are not even able to speak, to talk, but ask yourself, what was your goal when you are living as you? And remind yourself that you can again and you can be the same person you would like to be in the future. That is what I can tell them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that advice. That is very profound. But I want to ask you this question personally. You, as a
Yeah.
person now, as a leader, you tell the stories of others while you carry your own story as a refugee and as a single mother. How does that feel? How do you balance it? Supporting others, yet you have your own story, your own self to also pay attention to.
Yeah. What used to help me, mostly I used to tell myself that ma- people has different potential and from other potential, we can help each other. Yes, I carry a lot, and they carry a lot of, but maybe the time they need help, they are weak and they need me. So I forget fast about myself and send up to them and look how I can give support because even me when I am weak I used to seek support from other people. Yes, it is not easy. It is not easy because sometimes you might find people who are sharing the story who seem like yours and you feel like you can't. I used to seek support if I feel like I am not able to help because his stories seem like mine and maybe I can't hold. I used to refer to other people to help them. And I found myself that I'm still struggling with this matter. And from there, I seek again support. That's what
Mm,
I used to do.
okay, that also shows resilience. And that
Yeah.
brings me to this same word, resilience, which you used earlier during the podcast. So, what has storytelling taught you about resilience?
Yeah. The storytelling told me about resilience. Being resilient, it is not someone who cannot cry. I used to say this.
Mm,
Telling yourself or calling yourself resilient is not someone who can try when you are facing challenge. It is not someone who can't ask help when you are facing challenge. It is not someone who cannot feel down at some time. When you are down, you can cry, you can seek support, you can feel like you can't move again. But at the end, you feel like here, I can continue again. I can help someone. I can start again. That is resilience. And
Hmm.
the story of resilience is a story of someone who has gone through a lot, but he still finds the task of restarted, going,
Hmm.
trying, and standing up again. Yeah.
Hmm. Beautifully put, beautifully explained. Thank you for that. Now, as we begin to bring the podcast to a close, looking ahead, what is your vision for RIZIAGRAPHY and Women Stand Up and Care? What is your vision for the women and the girls you're working with?
Yeah. First for Rizziagraphy, looking not only in the refugee setup but in the Africa context. If you can see, women in the visual or the photography field are not many. So, to my side, I would like to create an academy, to construct an academy for only women and girls, where they can learn things about photography, storytelling, content creation. That is my vision in the future,
Mhm.
to create
You-
a space where women can find themselves in the fields where they can create stories, where they can educate others through their stories or other stories. About women stand up and care, it is only to empower women and to become more resilient. In this life, what I have seen, you can have so many things, but if you are not a resilient person, you are nothing. Because the world and our life is full of challenges. But if you are strong in resilience, you can face them despite some hard moment in the life.
Hmm. Well said. Thank you so much for that. So, Riziki, thank you so much for sharing your story, your experiences, and the incredible work you are leading through Women Stand Up and Care and RIZIAGRAPHY. Thank you very much.
Thank
Today's
you, Desmond.
Today's conversation reminds us that storytelling is more than preserving memories. It is a way of reclaiming identity, challenging narratives, creating opportunity, and inspiring change. Your journey, Riziki, shows that leadership can emerge even in the most difficult circumstances, and that creativity can become a powerful force for dignity, for empowerment, and for community transformation. So, thank you once again, Riziki, for sharing your story. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us for this episode. If today's conversation resonated with you, we encourage you to share this episode with others and continue engaging with the stories that too often go unheard. Until next time, I am Desmond Asakitikpi, and this is Across
Thank you
Archive.
for listening to Across Archives, a project by the Refugee Archive. Our conversations here highlight the storytellers, archivists, and advocates who are shaping how migration and displacement are remembered. If you'd like to go deeper and hear the voices of women living these experiences firsthand, join us on The Archive Speaks, our oral history audio archive, featuring powerful stories from female-headed households and single mothers in displacement around the world. Together, Across Archives and The Archive Speaks preserve memory, amplify unheard voices, and reshape how we understand the experience of displacement. Listen to The Archive Speaks wherever you get your podcasts, or visit the Refugee Archive to explore both projects and learn more about our work.